Imagine handing over the keys to your Blue Mountains rental property, right? You're expecting this nice passive income.
Oh, the classic dream.
Exactly. But then you find out your remote property manager priced your home the exact same way during like a super quiet Tuesday in November as they did for a massive Katoomba festival weekend.
Oh, man, yeah.
You didn't just leave a little bit of money on the table. You practically set it on
I
fire.
really did.
And on top of that, your guests are freezing because the remote manager didn't realize a Blackheath frost requires the heating to be turned on like 4 hours before check-in.
Yeah, it is a painfully common scenario, honestly. People chase that set it and forget it dream of short-term rentals.
Right.
But they completely underestimate how quickly that dream turns into just an absolute logistical nightmare when the person running the show doesn't actually understand the ground they are standing on.
So if you are listening to this right now and you are actively searching for an Airbnb manager, particularly in the Blue Mountains area, you are in the exact right place. Because, let's be real, finding a manager can be incredibly anxiety-inducing. You want to hand over the late-night messages, the cleaning coordination, the guest complaints.
All the stressful stuff.
Yeah, but you refuse to sacrifice your profitability or the safety of your asset to do it. So, today we're doing a deep dive into a stack of sources detailing hosting and their Blue Mountains Airbnb management solutions.
It's a really great set of materials.
It is. And our core mission today is to figure out why hyperlocal knowledge isn't just some, nice-to-have bonus feature. It is the absolute essential ingredient for successful short-term rental management.
And a major through line in these sources, and I think this is crucial, is that great managers don't just spring up out of nowhere.
Right.
They are cultivated. They come from great management companies like Hosting that actually equip them with the specific systems, the localized data, and, well, the structural backing to execute on that local knowledge.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah.
Because to truly understand what makes a manager great, we have to look at the complexity of the terrain they're actually managing.
We do.
And the materials make a very bold statement right out of the gate. They say the Blue Mountains is not one single market.
Yeah, and that is a fundamental shift in perspective. When you look at the region from the outside, maybe from a corporate management office, sitting in a high-rise in Sydney or Melbourne.
Right, looking at a map on a screen.
Exactly.
Right.
It is so easy to just slap the label, the Blue Mountains, on the whole area and treat it as a monolith. But the data absolutely rejects that.
It really does.
The sources explicitly break the region down into distinct villages. Katoomba, Laura, Blackheath.
Wentworth Falls.
Yeah, Wentworth Falls, Medlow Bath, and Mount Victoria.
Wait, I have to stop you there. Because as an owner, I might think, look, they are all just a few minutes apart on the Great Western Highway.
Sure, geographically they're close.
Right, so why can't I just look at what my neighbor in the next town over is charging on Airbnb and basically just, match it? Why does it matter if my house is in Laura versus Mount Victoria?
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism of how travel demand actually works in this specific geography.
Okay.
If you just match a neighbor's price, you are assuming their pricing strategy is correct to begin with.
Which is a big assumption.
Exactly. It's often a blind leading the blind scenario. The sources detail how demand shifts dramatically based on hyperlocal factors, like Katoomba might be driven by major local events and festivals,
Right.
drawing a very specific demographic that wants to be right in the town center, walking distance to cafes and the Three Sisters.
Well, someone booking in Medlow Bath is probably looking for something completely different.
Exactly the opposite, in fact. Medlow Bath might see a surge in couples looking for secluded romantic winter getaways.
Oh, that makes sense.
Or take Laura during the spring garden festivals. Demand for larger homes explodes there because families and older demographics are traveling together.
So it's totally different audiences.
Yes, if your manager is applying a blanket algorithm across the entire mountain range, they are completely missing these micro trends.
So we aren't just talking about setting a weekend rate and a weekday rate.
Not at all.
We're talking about software and human intelligence combining to shift the price based on hyperlocal search volume. It's like treating the Blue Mountains as one uniform market is basically like wearing the exact same outfit for a sunny beach day and a midnight blizzard.
That is a great way to put it. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And that is the core of dynamic pricing when it's done correctly. If a manager doesn't understand the difference between Katoomba and Mount Victoria, you will either leave money on the table by pricing too low during a hyperlocal demand spike in your specific village.
Ouch.
Yeah, or your property will sit completely empty because you've priced yourself out of a quieter village's market for that specific weekend.
That paints a very clear picture of the financial side. I mean, the geography is highly nuanced, so the pricing has to be nuanced.
Absolutely.
But let's look at how this impacts the actual people staying there. Because ultimately, if the guests have a terrible time, your reviews tank, the algorithms bury your listing, and the revenue dries up anyway.
And this is where local context shifts from being a purely financial tool to an absolute operational necessity.
Right.
The sources emphasize that Mountie stays are shaped by highly specific local factors. We are talking about unpredictable weather patterns, unique access constraints, highly specific check-in information.
Distinct heating requirements.
Yes, heating is huge, and tricky parking logistics that you just don't find in a standard suburban home.
I've got to push back on this a little bit, though.
Sure.
Because we live in a highly connected world. Can't anyone with a smartphone, a Wi-Fi connection, and a digital lockbox manage guest check-ins from anywhere on the planet?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
I mean, why does a manager actually need to be geographically local to handle a broken heater or a parking question? Can't they just dispatch a tradie from a centralized call center?
It's a really common assumption,
Okay.
and it's the exact trap that causes remote management models to fail spectacularly. Yeah. Relying on a call center and an air tasker completely ignores the reality of mountain operations. Let's look at turnover reliability and guest-ready preparation.
Okay.
Think about a sudden, unseasonal frost hitting Blackheath. A remote manager looking at a weather app in a different state might not understand the practical reality of that weather event.
Because to them, it's just a number on a screen, like, oh, it's 2 degrees, cold.
Exactly. But a local manager knows that in a 1920s mountain cottage in Blackheath, 2 degrees means the pipes are prone to freezing,
Oh, wow.
which isn't just an inconvenience, it's a structural hazard. Furthermore, a remote manager won't realize that the specific type of slow combustion heater or underfloor heating in that older home takes 4 to 6 hours to actually warm the space up.
Wait, seriously? So if the remote manager just sends an automated message with the door code, the guest arrives at 8 p.m., steps inside, and the house is literally an icebox.
Literally an icebox. And worse than that, a call center agent sitting in a Sydney office telling a freezing guest, "We are so sorry, we've dispatched someone who will be there tomorrow between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That does absolutely nothing to solve the immediate crisis. That is a guaranteed 1-star review.
A local manager, on the other hand, anticipates that frost.
They do. They know how to handle the fast issue resolution required because they are physically there. They coordinate the cleaning and the turnovers so the property is prepared for the specific conditions of that specific village on that specific day.
So they might ensure the cleaners turn the heating on at 2 p.m. before they leave.
Exactly. They know which local tradespeople are actually reliable in a crisis, who knows the winding back roads, and who understands exactly what a guest expects when they book a mountain getaway.
You simply cannot automate that level of local boots-on-the-ground context.
You really can't.
So they aren't just reacting to a complaint, they are proactively managing the environment to ensure the complaint never happens. That makes a ton of sense.
It's all about prevention.
Okay, so local knowledge keeps the guests happy, keeps them warm, and stops small maintenance hiccups from blowing up into devastating reviews.
Right.
But if you are listening to this, you care about the guests, absolutely, but you are also fundamentally concerned about your asset and your return.
As you should be. I mean, the primary function of a management company is to protect the asset and generate yield.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Let's hear it.
If you have a manager who doesn't understand the local data, receiving standard owner reports is basically like flying a plane blindfolded.
Oh, totally.
You get a generic spreadsheet at the end of the month that says, here is what you made, but you have zero visibility into why things happened or what opportunities you missed.
It's useless data.
Exactly. But what the sources describe hosting doing with localized data is like giving the owner a high-definition instrument panel.
The instrument panel is the perfect analogy. The materials heavily highlight Hosting's Blue Mountains Market Intelligence Reports. These aren't just broad regional summaries. They provide actionable, suburb-level data across key neighborhoods. It gives the owner absolute visibility into the performance of their specific asset in its specific micro-market.
Wait, I'm still slightly stuck on the data part. I get having local tradespeople to fix a pipe, but why do I need this suburb-level data just to get bookings?
It's a fair question.
Doesn't Airbnb just put my listing in front of people searching for the Blue Mountains?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, a really good manager does far more than just act as a glorified receptionist who answers Airbnb messages and schedules a cleaner.
Right.
They actively optimize the property. Let's look at the mechanics of those market intelligence reports. Let's say Hosting Systems flag that Wentworth Falls sees a 40% drop in guest searches, specifically on Tuesdays and Wednesdays in July,
A remote manager might just panic, slash the nightly rate by 50% and hope someone books it.
which destroys your yield and often attracts a lower quality of guest. But a local manager utilizing these intelligence reports doesn't just blindly drop the price. Because they know the area, they might actively optimize the listing by bundling a winter fireside package.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, highlighting the slow combustion fireplace in the description, maybe partnering with a local Katoomba bakery for a welcome hamper.
Nice touch.
Right. It artificially inflates the perceived value of the stay. They keep the yields high even when demand drops, because they understand how to position the property for the guests who are actually searching.
So they are essentially manipulating the local variables to maintain profitability.
Precisely.
That level of visibility would absolutely lower my anxiety as an owner. You aren't just trusting a black box, you are seeing the logic behind the decisions.
And through clear, consistent updates, they give the owners visibility over that exact strategy. You understand not just what your pricing is, but why it's set there.
You understand the booking trends.
Exactly. And this ties directly back to maintenance communication as well. A great local manager identifies and communicates guest-reported issues early.
Right, so things don't snowball.
They provide updates so owners know their physical asset is being protected, while simultaneously knowing their financial return is being maximized. It's a dual focus that only works when you have local data.
Okay, so if this high-definition data dashboard and local operational excellence are the baselines for success, how do the actual options on the market stack up?
Oh, this is the fun part.
Because if someone is actively looking for a manager right now, they are probably drowning in sales pitches. The sources actually provide a very revealing comparison matrix of the different types of management models out there.
Yes, and understanding the mechanics of this matrix is vital. Owners often compare totally different business models without realizing they're built to do completely different things.
Right, they just look at the bottom line.
Exactly. They look at the management fee percentage without looking at the structural capability of the company.
Let's walk through them. First up, you have the individual co-host. The sources say this is best suited for owners who just need limited help. But where do they fall short?
The mechanism of failure for an individual co-host is almost always scale and burnout.
Burnout makes sense.
Yeah, they might be incredibly local and very enthusiastic, but they usually lack full enterprise systems. They don't have the robust data reporting, the algorithmic dynamic pricing support, or a deep bench of backup cleaners when someone gets sick.
It's just one person.
It's just one person trying to juggle guest messages at midnight while coordinating a plumber at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Eventually, balls get dropped.
Then you have the complete opposite end of the spectrum, the national manager. This is for owners wanting massive scale.
Right.
But the sources point out they lack the local focus we've been talking about.
A national manager relies almost entirely on algorithms and centralized call centers. They have amazing software, but they don't have boots on the ground.
So they're the ones we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, they're the ones looking at the Blue Mountains from an office in Sydney, missing the micro trends in Medlow Bath, and sending automated messages when a pipe freezes in Blackheath. They have the systems, but none of the local context.
Which brings us to the traditional property manager, your standard local real estate agent who also happens to manage a few Airbnbs on the side.
This raises an important question, because this is where owners get the most confused.
Really?
Yeah, they think, well, my real estate agent is local, and they manage properties, so why not let them manage my short-term rental?
Right. What does this actually mean for someone comparing a traditional real estate agent to a specialized Airbnb manager? Aren't they both just managing property at the end of the day?
Structurally, they are entirely different beasts. Think of a traditional property manager like a massive cargo ship.
A cargo ship, okay.
Yeah, they are built for long, slow, steady 12-month journeys. They place a tenant on a year-long lease, collect the rent monthly, and do a routine inspection every 6 months. It is a slow-moving, low-touch operational model.
Okay, so if traditional manager is the cargo ship.
Airbnb Manager is like a high-powered tugboat.
Oh, I like that.
They have to make rapid, daily, sometimes hourly micro-adjustments to navigate constantly shifting tides. They are designed for short-term, nightly guest turnovers, managing a dynamic daily pricing calendar, handling a constant stream of guest reviews.
Coordinating cleaning teams multiple times a week.
Exactly. If you ask the captain of a cargo ship to perform the duties of a tugboat, they are going to crash. Traditional real estate agencies simply do not have the internal infrastructure to actively optimize nightly yields.
That is a brilliant way to look at it. Okay, continuing down the matrix, you have the large holiday rental agency. The sources say they are best suited for owners wanting established portfolio exposure.
But the trade-off is often personalization. Because of their sheer size, they can sometimes feel like a factory.
Like an assembly line.
Yeah. You get the broad market exposure, but you lose that hands-on specific care for the unique quirks of your particular property. You become just another number on a massive spreadsheet.
Which brings us to where LM Hosting explicitly positions themselves in this showdown. The sources describe their model as boutique, technology-led, local, and hands-on.
Yeah.
They are highlighted as a strong fit for owners who want active optimization and clear communication.
And this brings everything full circle. Finding the best fit means choosing a company built specifically for short-term performance in this specific, highly nuanced region.
Right.
Hosting is engineered to sit right in the sweet spot. They combine the enterprise-level systems, the market intelligence data, and the dynamic pricing technology of a massive national operation.
But they pair it with the local focus.
Exactly. They pair with the hyper-local focus,
Yeah.
the operational boots on the ground, and the hands-on care of a boutique local manager. They aren't just administrating your property, they are actively driving its performance.
So let's bring all of this together. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today.
We really have.
If you are out there right now, actively searching for someone to take the reins of your Blue Mountains property, the journey really boils down to one absolutely non-negotiable factor: hyper-local knowledge.
It is the foundation that holds the entire operation together.
It really is. It's the key to an incredible guest experience, ensuring you don't get one-star reviews because a remote manager didn't know how long a Blackheath home takes to heat up.
Exactly.
It's the key to operational excellence, knowing exactly how to coordinate a tight turnover in Laura when the weather turns bad. And crucially, it is the key to maximizing your profit through highly targeted, suburb-level pricing strategies that a generalized algorithm would completely miss.
And we must reiterate that you don't just stumble upon great managers.
Right.
They are the product of great management companies. A company like Hosting provides that vital blend of hands-on local care with the technology-led, performance-focused systems that actually translate local knowledge into higher yields.
Think about your ultimate goal here. You are looking for a manager because you want to hand over the stress. You want to be done with the endless late-night messages, the panic when a cleaner cancels, and the maintenance headaches.
Nobody wants to deal with that.
No, but you refuse to fly blind, and you certainly don't want to sacrifice your profitability. Finding a specialized local manager with the right data systems makes achieving both of those things entirely possible.
It does.
You don't have to choose between peace of mind and maximum profit.
The right manager transforms the property from a daily source of stress into a highly optimized passive asset.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over regarding your own property.
Let's hear it.
If we now know that hyper-local knowledge dictates everything from dynamic pricing strategies down to the exact type of heating a guest expects in Larira versus Mount Victoria, what hidden micro-trends in your specific suburb's data might you be missing out on right now simply because you don't have a localized market intelligence report? How much yield is slipping through the cracks while you treat your property like just another generic listing?
That is a question every owner needs to ask themselves.
It really is. Until next time, keep diving deep.